So Russian missiles hitting near the capital city of Kyiv. First time in a month they've taken target in the capital city. Vladimir Putin, meanwhile, warning the West not to send Ukraine longer-range rocket systems. Jack Keane, retired four-star general. Nice to see you, sir, and good morning to you. Putin's quote was, "If you do, we will hit, quote, objects that we have not yet struck." How do you interpret that threat?
Well, certainly what took place in Kyiv is likely a reaction to the fact that we've upscaled our commitment to the Ukrainians by providing them multiple rocket launchers. Listen, the Russians have a significant amount of artillery, more than the Ukrainians have, and they outgun the Ukrainians. And they certainly have a lot of multiple rocket launchers themselves. What this is an attempt to do is to give the Ukrainians a fair shot at the Russian artillery that outranges them, and the multiple rocket launchers do just that. I mean, it took a couple of months to get to where we are actually delivering these systems to them. I think that was an unfortunate delay, but the good news is they're coming. And I don't think it's going to take as much time to train on them as people think, given folks I've spoke to about this. But this is going to be much needed by the Ukrainians as they enter this phase where they want to start conducting more counteroffensive operations and reduce the Russian artillery so they can make some progress and take some territory back that they've lost. And you can see some beginning signs of that, Bill.
General, why hit Kyiv again? What was the strategy behind that?
I think it's just a reminder it's the capital city. It's been normal there for about a month. They certainly targeted, I don't think, of any military value. They're trying to claim they were taking down tank repair facilities, but actually is a train repair facility that got hit. And these were air-land cruise missiles that are precision-type weapons that the Russians have. But it's all about trying to force the West not to continue to provide the advanced weapon systems. And also, I think what Putin's hoping for is Ukraine fatigue, Bill. You know, where the West do not enforce the sanctions to the degree that they began with. They don't provide the arms and ammunition as time drags on. The international media is not covering the story like it used to be covered, although the fighting is very intense inside of Ukraine, certainly. And he's counting on that to take place, and he's keeping the pressure on to reduce country's commitments to Ukraine. That's what this is about.
Yeah. General, before I let you go here, today marks 78 years since the invasion of Western Europe, D-Day. What should we remember on this day? What should we think about?
Well, I think the scale of it always grabs our attention. 156,000 troops involved, 11,000 airplanes, 2,500 involved alone in the airborne operation the night prior, 7,000 ships involved in this, to include the landing craft, and then certainly the number of casualties, over 8,000 American casualties here. Taken place, not to count the other allies. But then the second thing is the success of it. I mean, they built up their forces in England for 2 years, so there was no strategic surprise. But the Americans, led by General Eisenhower, had this idea, well, could we achieve tactical surprise? Deceive them as to where the location was and when we would do it. And they achieved both of those. Quite remarkable success. They built an army that didn't exist across from the most likely place we would conduct the invasion, in the Pas-de-Calais. And they built that army up on the east side of England, and they put General Patton in charge of an army that didn't exist, with mock rubber tanks and plywood vehicles. And that existed for some time, with radio operations being conducted in those units every single day. Units that did not exist. A remarkable success in terms of a tactical surprise. Then the third thing is the troops themselves. I mean, most of these troops had not been in combat, and their perseverance, their determination on that day, sick as a dog probably being in those landing craft, can't wait to get out of it, and then facing down heavy machine gun and artillery fire, and keep moving towards the beach, keep moving across the beach, keep moving inland. It's a remarkable story of U.S. and Allied determination, an incredible success story.
Amen to that. Well done. General, nice to see you. Jack Keane, we remember today. Thank you, sir.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.